Toastmasters, we are experiencing a decline in membership. At present, our rate has declined. At present, our membership has declined 21% so far this year. How do we stop this list? How do we stop this loss and rebuild our clubs? Simply by embracing the new reality of Zoom and Pathways and entice guests to experience Toastmasters and become new members. Holding open houses is our best bet to grow. So what can we do to make them successful? How can we entice guests to join? Our presenter today, this morning, is Michael Bear, a longtime Toastmaster. He is a three-time District 64 International Speech Contest champion. He has placed second in the 2000 regional semifinals and was a 1998 International Speech Contest finalist. He became District 64's second accredited speaker in 2019, and finally, after 23 years, received his Distinguished Toastmaster Award this past fall. Michael is our current District 64 Club Growth Director. Today, he will share with us best practices that will help make our open houses successful by attracting guests and converting them to members. Please help me welcome Michael.
Thank you very much, Lloyd, and good morning and welcome everyone. And just to let you know, we are recording this and we will put it up on the D64 Club Growth Director YouTube channel sometime later today or tomorrow, because we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to see this, even if they weren't able to come this morning. So when I was asked to speak, I thought, how should I set this up? I want to talk about open houses, but maybe we need to talk about how not to attract members. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's about the little mistakes that we make that make the difference of having a great open house or not so great open house. So the suggestions that I have today, I've gleaned from experiencing open houses over the years in Toastmasters. So here we go. So let's do a very quick round of introductions. We got 45 people online, so it's got to be really, really quick. We're going to maybe not necessarily do a round of introductions, but just a couple of minutes. Here's what I'd like to know: your name, your club or clubs, the last open house you held at your club, how many guests were there, how many members joined as a result. So who'd like to start? Janet, I've got you on the screen. Why don't you start?
Mr. Speaker, fellow Toastmasters, it was Lions Place. It was about now a year and a half ago, I don't know. We had many Toastmaster guests, but we had 3 non-Toastmaster guests. And at that time, we didn't have any new members, but we do have 3 new members now.
Okay, Helen.
Okay, I'm a member of 2 clubs. Last open house, I don't think we've ever had one in Headliners, so that's a goal for me. HSC, yes, we had an open house. We had, maybe 10 or 12 people attend, and we had, I think 2 or 3 people signed up, but they are very, very solid members. Very solid. They're on the executive. They're participating every week. Just awesome. One of the best things we did for HSC.
Cool, thank you. Laverne.
Hello, everybody. I'm Laverne Wichkowski. I belong to about 5 clubs: Beausejour, Whiteshell, Officers Club, Virtual, and Keystone, I believe. The last open house I held at any of those clubs was in Beausejour at the end of November, and we had Bob Huey attend, accredited speaker. We had about 10 guests in the room because we twinned with Prairie Voices. There were at least two non-Toastmasters that were there. And we're working on one of them to sign. We've sent her the application, and the other one is still shopping for a club.
Okay, thank you. Who else would like to jump in? Those are the only 3 people that I unfortunately have on my screen. So who else would like to jump in? I know everybody's saying, wow, he can't call on us because he can't see us.
Hi, Michael. I'm Sharon Golan. I'm from Manitoba Telecom, and I believe our last open house was in 2018, and we had, I think, 1 person sign up.
Cool.
Thank you,
Sharon. Anyone else? Sylvia.
Yes, my name is Sylvia Nielsen Barkman. I'm a Talking Books, Steinbeck Professional Development, Toastmasters, and Carillon Club. In November, Steinbeck Professional had an open house, and there were probably, I don't know, close to 10 visitors, but we only had 1 new member.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hi, Michael. This is Rani from Key Club, and hi, Michael, and the Toastmasters. We are planning. Key Club is planning to do the open house for every month. Third week of Tuesday, early morning. We had an open house there last month, and 4 members attended, and they are potential members. I mean, 4 guest attendants. They are potential members. They are interested to join the Toastmasters because they are too shy to speak.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Well, in view of time, I think I'm going to cut the introductions off, but thank you for those who participated. So we are having some open houses. We are getting some guests. So what are some of the secrets of really having effective open houses? And why do we have open houses? Well, for a lot of different reasons. The first one, of course, is to attract new members, to attract guests that we can convert to members. There's another reason. We want to showcase our members. And I think this is important because we can show people when we have our open house, the effect of Toastmasters that it's had on them and how they've improved their communication and leadership skills. We can showcase the benefits of Toastmasters by doing exactly that. So what about planning for your open house? Benjamin Franklin said, failing to plan is planning to fail. And I think it's really important that if we're planning an open house to really sit down and do a really good job planning. So here's some ideas. Maybe you need to choose a theme. What theme are you going to have for your open house? What are you going to have that's going to attract people to you? It might be around a holiday. It might be around Christmas, Thanksgiving, Canada Day, whatever. But what's your theme for the meeting? And remember, if you choose a theme for the meeting, you have to wrap your meeting around the theme. How many times have you come to just an ordinary club meeting and we always have a theme? Do we actually talk about the theme? Do we do things around that theme? Or is it just another thing on the top of the agenda? So you have to have it around the theme. Today's theme for our meeting today, we're halfway to distinguish, but it is the holiday time. So Laverne encouraged us to wear our fun Christmas shirts. And as Daryl Gervais so eloquently said, a fun Christmas shirt on underneath an ugly face, at least for me. But what kind of theme are you choosing? Are you highlighting your club's unique selling point? So what makes your club distinctive? What sets you apart from all of the other Toastmasters clubs? When Key Club had their guest meeting on the 1st of December, Key Club meets on a Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock. And one of the things that we always talk about in Key Club is that we're a business club. So when we put the advertising out, we talked about being the premier early morning Toastmasters business club. Why early morning? For folks who are morning people, and business. That's our unique selling point. I know when Sylvia did the Steinbach Professional Development Club, again, what was the unique things? They brought in a speaker. Actually, I was the one who spoke, but I talked about some things that small business could do to help drive their business. So have you got a unique selling point? And every club is a little bit different. So I'm going to pick on some clubs. I'm going to pick on ASAP. Yes, I'm going to pick on you. I was a member about 20 years ago. Haven't been back since. Haven't been invited either. But that's another thing. But what's ASAP's unique selling point? ASAP is an advanced club. You have to have at least two levels in a path done. You have to audition for the club, or you have to have the old CC. So what's the unique selling point there? They're looking for Toastmasters who want to take it beyond the normal Toastmaster experience to a higher level. So what unique selling point can you highlight, again, to attract guests and potential members? That's really what people are looking for, answering the why. We want really to appeal to that ideal member of our clubs to bring them in. So what's your unique selling point? What makes you different from the other Toastmasters clubs, and are you selling that? Guest speakers are also a great way to do this. As I say, I've spoken at Steinbach, and I know Laverne mentioned that Bob Huey was their guest speaker at their last event. They also had another open house earlier this year, and they phoned the Speakers Bureau. And yes, the district has a Speakers Bureau that can help you bring in guest speakers. You just have to go to Speakers Bureau at district64.ca. we can help you. We brought in Tom Island. Did anybody here watch The Price is Right yesterday? Again, I can only see 4 of you, so please, no spoiler alert. Tom Island, who was their guest speaker, was a contestant on The Price is Right, and I haven't seen it, so don't put in the chat what he won, because I'm going to watch him a little bit later. But Tom is a friend of mine. He's an accredited speaker, and he is a premier expert on autism. He is autistic, and he's got a tremendous story. And he was one of those, he was a guest speaker for Bossinger. So when you get a guest speaker, again, you can attract people who maybe you know wouldn't normally attract, again, just to get that hook to bring them in. I think planning the meeting in great detail is very important as well. How many times, at the end of the meeting, we sit down and say, okay, let's plan for next meeting. Who's going to be the Toastmaster? Who's going to do a speech? Who's going to be the evaluator? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? I think you really have to plan this well in advance. You have to have everybody's role laid out. People need to understand what they have to do. People need to understand that they've got to be there. You got to get the roles filled. Ideally, 2 speakers. You want to have a speaker who's relatively new, a rookie, and you want to have one of your more experienced speakers. Why? Because it's the contrast. And in the evaluation, you can bring that out. You say, oh, Michael Baer, our first speaker, he did a great job. Michael's only been a member for a couple of months. The second speaker is Laverne Wojciechowski. Laverne's been a longtime Toastmaster for 10 years. And people right away can see, wow, what a difference it makes. What a difference in speaking. And it really enhances that. If we put our premier speakers on, it's going to scare people away. Because if people are coming to us to learn and how to get the experience to speak in front of an audience, and we only show them our best speakers, they're going to say, you know what, I'm not there. I am not there. This is not for me. So 2 speakers if possible, that rookie and the experienced speaker. Have a planning meeting for your open house. The Key Club, for our last open house, we had 2 Sunday morning meetings for an hour planning the open house, just to make sure we had the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Everybody understood their role, and everybody understood how every role is important, believe it or not, especially timing. We made sure that the night before that everybody was going to show up. This is really key and critical. Again, you don't want to have a hole in the meeting for a guest meeting. It just doesn't look professional. You want to make sure that the guests that you've invited are coming. So the idea is to call them and remind them of the meeting, that it's the next day. It's also important, I think, that when you have the meeting, to have an agenda and to have a branded agenda. I don't know how many guest meetings I've gone to where it's just a piece of paper with the agenda, but you want to have a nice branded agenda. Looks something like this: Key Club Toastmasters. You've got everything there. It's beautifully laid out. People get it. They've got the Zoom links for meetings. You just want to make sure they have that agenda. So have a planning meeting. So again, some more planning. Invite your area and division director to your meeting so that they can bring greetings from the district. And I think that's another key and important thing. You might want to have a chat with them as well to see what they're going to talk about, just or subtly mention the sort of things that they want you to do. Again, you want them to fit into the meeting. If you're going to do a sales pitch, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, you don't necessarily want them to do that, especially if they're speaking at the beginning of the meeting, because you want to make sure that sort of a thing comes at the end. But invite your area and division director. They're also great general evaluators for your meeting to give you insights of what we're doing. Create a PDF version of the agenda so that it's easy to send out. And when you send the PDF version out to members and to potential guests that are coming, when they open it up, it's formatted properly. You don't have to worry about things getting mixed up in bits and bytes and things not all looking nice and pretty, but send that PDF version of the agenda. The other big advantage of that is put a copy in the chat for guests, so that when guests come, maybe unexpectedly, you can say, you know what, we have an agenda for our meeting, go into chat, download it, and they have the agenda in their hand. And that's a great hint for every meeting. Put your agenda in the chat. It just makes it better for guests and for members as well, that we're not now fumbling with papers. I think that part of every agenda at an open house is you've got to do a Toastmasters pitch. You've got to turn into salespeople. And you have to think about, what does that pitch look like? What does that pitch sound like? And you've got to leave, I think, time in your agenda for that pitch to happen. You also have to ask guests to join. How many times have I gone to meetings over the years and there's guests at the meetings and they hope, oh, we'd love to see you again. Or will you be here next week? Why not say, we'd love you to join? We'd love you to join, and then put an application form in the chat that they can download. So it's right there for them. That chat on Zoom is a very, very, very handy feature for us to use. So at the open house, make sure that we greet guests in a friendly manner. I've seen open houses where guests have come in and members are sitting around and chatting. And again, we're in a Zoom environment, so this gets challenging, but we want to make sure we greet them. We send them messages via the chat as well. Make sure that we introduce them around. And when we are meeting in person, introduce them to members, especially the president, because you know what? We'd like you to introduce you to the president of our club. And they go, wow, I'm going to meet the top dog. Yes, it makes a difference. Ask questions to get them talking. Why? Because we want to determine why they came. And if we understand the why, then it's very easy to show them how the Toastmasters process will work for them and will help them meet their needs. It'll also make them feel very welcome just to find out the why. So let's get, instead of us talking about Toastmasters, get them talking about themselves, because they will tell us what we need to know to bring them in and engage them as guests. And that sales pitch, again, part of an agenda item on your agenda. And we want you to tailor the pitch to answer the guest's question of, why am I here? So what does the sales pitch look like? Well, let me show you what we did at Key Club, and we do this at Keystone Speakers as well, the two clubs that I belong to. So we scheduled about 5 minutes for this in the meeting. We say, welcome to Key Club Toastmasters. What is Toastmasters? Toastmasters International is the world leader in communication and leadership development of 358,000 members and 15,700 clubs in 142 countries. Our mission is to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. Our club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Key Club was chartered in 1971. Hint, our 40th is in May. Stay tuned. Our focus is mainly business-related skills. We meet weekly via Zoom, and we have a dynamic personal and professional development program. So as a morning business-related club, how can we help you in business? Well, we have a Pathways educational program that has 11 key paths that will make you a better leader and a better communicator, both personally and in business. So what's part of your challenge in business? As part of your issues, coaching your staff and your employees for better results. Are you perhaps having problem with doing presentations to customers and clients? Do you want to be able to develop stronger and more effective teams that'll really drive innovation? Do you want to develop yourself more as a leader? We have a path for those things and many more. So what are the learning opportunities we have here at Key Club? We have the opportunity to practice public speaking skills. You have the opportunity to do impromptu speeches, to lead and organize meetings, and to do work-related presentations. So if you have a presentation that you're going to do at work and you want to try it out here, bring it here. We'll help you fine-tune it and develop it. Some more learning opportunities. It's all about experiential learning. The only way to become a good leader and the only way to become an effective communicator is to practice on a self-paced program at your own speed. You get professional feedback from our members and personal mentoring. There's all kinds of leadership opportunities for you within the club, as well as within the district as well. And our clubs are organized into areas, and you could be an area director who's responsible for overseeing clubs, or you could become a division director, which is to overlook a number of areas, so higher in the hierarchy, or even district or district officer as well. So some of the benefits of Key Club: dynamic meetings currently held on Zoom, an accountability framework to track success, mentoring and coaching, opportunity to practice at every meeting. Practice is not limited to the formal program. If you're doing something at work and you want the feedback, bring it here. We will help you do that. We do fun social events during the year. Significant others, just to have a little bit of fun as well. So we're not just Toastmasters in business, but we're about some fun as well. And we really encourage you. So does anyone have any questions? So we pause, we take questions, and here it comes. So the Key Club investment, what does this really cost? Nothing. There is no cost. It's all about your investment in your future. The investment is $100 Canadian every 6 months, plus a one-time $30 registration fee. But if you join today, only $60 for the first 3 months, no one-time fee. And the application form is in the chat. So that's our sales pitch that we do at Key Club. We have a similar one that we do at Keystone Speakers. So are you doing a formal sales pitch outlining the advantages of Toastmasters, taking the pathways, listening to what your members are saying, getting that why, and then tailoring the paths that you're going to highlight to help meet their specific skills? This is a huge way of, again, answering their why and getting them to write the check. So the application form. So we put the application form in the chat, and I just wanted to share this. We've slightly modified it, and I don't have TI's permission, but it's better to ask for forgiveness sometimes than permission, especially in a Zoom world. How do we get the cash? How do we get the app? So you can see here, email the registration form to bayerfamily@shaw.ca, because Barbara is the vice president of membership, so she does all of that registration stuff. E-transfer the money to Dennis Davily at mymts.net. Dennis is our treasurer, so Dennis grabs the cash and pays the TI fees. So we put the application form right in the chat with instructions on how to get it back to us. This is very helpful, again, in follow-up and making sure that stuff that we get, we process those applications and we get people interested. We want to give them the opportunity to join at the meeting. So we strongly recommend you do this. So that's what we do in terms of a sales pitch. So we have to ask, are you doing a sales pitch in your guest meeting where you're very specifically asking, showing the benefits and asking people to join? Because really the bottom line is, if we don't ask for the sale, we don't get the sale. And ladies and gentlemen, we are in sales when we have open houses. So what about marketing your open house? Marketing really is the key to drawing in guests to open houses. The better the campaign, the better the results. It's just that simple. The longer the campaign, the better the results. If you publish your open house on Friday morning, hoping to attract guests for Tuesday morning, you're not going to be as successful as if you had a longer lead time. It's really important to do that. Some people say, well, but we do a lot of marketing. Is that going to bug people? We all watch TV. How many times have you seen the same commercial over and over and over and over again, right? It's all about getting people interested and catching people's attention. So marketing campaigns are important. We need to use social media effectively. We had an opportunity to listen to Brittany Miller, who is absolutely brilliant on Instagram and Facebook. We're going to talk about LinkedIn and websites this coming week. D64 Club Growth Director on YouTube. The videos will all be there if you couldn't come or you can't come, but we need to use social media effectively. So the question I have to ask, do you have a club Facebook page? If you don't, I have to ask, why not? Now, here's the trick with any kind of social media, whether it's Facebook or whether it's a LinkedIn page as well, is you have to use social media effectively. If you open a Facebook page or a LinkedIn page and all you ever do is post your ads for open houses or whatever, you're not going to be as successful as you hoped, because social media is about giving people things that are important to them and valuable to them, and then occasionally doing a pitch. And the key with social media is to constantly post. And what we mean constantly, or consistently perhaps is a better word, is you have to post consistently. So maybe every week after your club meeting, you post about how great the club meeting was, that so-and-so did this. If you maybe can capture, a short piece of video, perhaps someone is, telling a humor, telling a joke or whatever, those little bits and pieces, but those things are important. And then occasionally posting your sales pitch for open houses, that's when you start to become effective. The other thing about Facebook and LinkedIn as well is, if you do have a club Facebook page and it shows up on your feed, are you sharing this to your network? And are your club members a member of the page, and are they sharing this through their network? That is really key and critical for effective social media marketing. You just can't open a page and put it up, because probably no one is going to see it. So you have to effectively manage your social media. Come to our social media workshops. You'll learn a lot more about that. Instagram is very interesting. And when you listen to Brittany, you'll find out that Instagram, and it's interesting because Instagram, the demographic is that 18 to 23. Facebook is that 23 to 40. But if you're looking for Instagram, a big difference between Instagram and Facebook, Instagram is about images and videos. And I'm not an Instagram guy whatsoever. I've just recently actually registered on Instagram, but Instagram is about a lot of videos and pictures. So if you don't have videos or interesting pictures, again, you're not going to rate very highly. And again, to attract followers. The idea there too is give people a reason to come, not just an advertising pitch. Creating posters is important as well. And if you want to know how to create really, really effective posters, Cheryl Roche was brilliant at the fall rally. She did a fabulous presentation on how to create effective posters for your club to help advertise. We've got some examples for you here. Here's Tom Island. Again, please do not put in the chat what he won yesterday at The Price is Right. I'm going to watch it later tonight. Tom is a great guy. This is a fabulous poster that was created by Beausejour following the directions that Cheryl gave us, but really highlighting Tom. You can see there, your eye goes right to that picture that he's holding with his book. You've got the Zoom link, you've got the date that pops out on you, come to life during a pandemic. A great example of a poster. Here's an example of a poster that Steinbach Professional Development used, where I was the guest speaker. And again, you can see there's a lot of information and a lot of writing here. Go to Cheryl Roche, go to see what Cheryl Roche did at the fall rally. I know we recorded it. Take her advice, create some posters. Now, here's one thing: when you create a poster and you post it online, there's a couple of things you have to remember, again, to be effective in your social media marketing. Generally, when you do this, you're converting your poster to a PDF or to a JPEG. So an image file, the links don't work because it's an image file. Sometimes you can't even copy the link to paste it into your browser. So if all you have is that image, and people have that long string of letters and numbers and slashes and colons and and dots and all the rest of that stuff, are they really going to be patient enough to type that in error-free? So here's what it is. Put the live link in your post so that they can go and they can click on that, so they can come to the meeting, or they can click on the copy that, put it into their calendar so that they remember. It's easy. Make it easy for people to get to the meeting. So put the live link in your post. I don't know how many posts I see with links and images that I have to type these things out laboriously. Make it easy, easy, easy for your potential guests. And again, share the posts on your page, share the posts through your network, put it out as much as you can, because you've got to get it out there and you've got to be active. Social media is not passive marketing, believe it or not. You've got to work at it a little bit. Talked about that already. Okay. Local newspapers, especially in smaller communities, can be very, very effective to bring attention. Usually they're looking for content. Local newspapers are also a great way to get articles printed. And I know I have a cottage near Lac du Bonnet, and I was getting my tires changed, and I picked up the local Lac du Bonnet paper, and I said, I know that person. And there it is, front page, full cover about Laverne Wojciechowski becoming the district director for Toastmasters. So use your newspapers where you can, especially in small communities. Very, very effective. The other thing with open houses, ask people to attend. You've got to simply talk to people and ask them to attend. Some of us find that hard to do, but if we don't do that, how successful are we going to be? For those of you that remember Warren Piggott, a former member, this guy was a member magnet. He would show up at meetings with the grocery clerk from the night before at Superstore, because he said, have you heard about Toastmasters? No, oh, come on to a meeting with me. And he would bring people. It was amazing. If you ask, people will come. But if we don't ask, we automatically get the no. I think the other really important thing about open houses is follow-up. And are we really, we do a lot of work planning meetings. We do a lot of work having the meetings. And then where do we fall down? We fall down at the back end when we don't do follow-up. So here's some ideas what we need to do. Send a thank you note in the mail and ask them to join. Actually physically write it out, put a stamp on it, pop it in the mailbox. What a difference when you get a letter in the mail, someone's handwritten, than when you get an email. However, an email is very effective right after the meeting to say, thank you very much for coming. We really would love to have you as a member. You would really enhance our club, use some really nice words, send them an email as well. Call the person to ask if they have any questions. And then again, to ask them to join and to come back. We sometimes don't want to do that, pick up the phone and call. And yet in meetings, we bemoan the fact that we have to meet by Zoom because of COVID, and wow, can't wait to get back to that person-to-person contact. Well, one of the ways to have that person-to-person contact today is to get on the phone and talk to people. So it's really important that we do this. We painfully learned the importance of these lessons at Key Club last year. What happened was that one of our members brought in a guest, very engaging. She had been in, and she was a guest probably for 4 or 5 weeks. And we were talking about, the struggles we were having with membership and everything else. And then she said to us, can I make a statement? And we said, absolutely. She said, okay. She said, I belong to BNI. For people who don't know what BNI is, it stands for Business Networking something. I don't know what the I stands for, but basically it's a leads club, and there's chapters all over. You belong to a chapter, you meet once a week, you bring business leads in for other members. There's only one person in every sector, so that there's not 3 real estate agents and 2 lawyers. There's 1 real estate agent, 1 lawyer, et cetera, et cetera. And she said, I was invited to a BNI. She said, I went. I did not want to go. She said, I really didn't want to go. The BNI membership is about $500 a year. I think it's somewhere around there. So I really didn't want to go. She said, but they bugged me. I said, all right. So I went to a meeting. She says, and within the first week, the president called me, the vice president called me. She said, and a week later, 2 weeks later, I wrote a check, and I've been going to BNI for a couple of years. She said, I've been coming here for 5 weeks. No one's asked me that. And no one's called me. And we all looked around, very embarrassed. It's so key and critical. It's the follow-up that counts. That's what makes the difference, and that's what brings people in, because it's that contact that makes a difference. If they hesitate when you ask them to join, say, you know what? You don't have to make a decision today, but we would love to have you at the next meeting. We'd love to have a role. Perhaps could you just tell a joke or give us an inspirational quote to launch us off? Again, to get them involved, to say, hey, you're going to make a valuable contribution. What a difference that makes. After the next meetings, again, do this, go back to step 1 and repeat until they finally say yes. So the biggest reasons people don't come, they're not asked to join. That follow-up is missing, and I can't overemphasize this. If they didn't join, they're not that interested. Have you got them on a mailing list? for future open houses? Because people's circumstances change. So you just never know that someone's come to an open house, you've done the follow-up, you've done all the right stuff. They decide not to come, and 6 months later you invite them and they decide to join. So again, are we keeping in contact with them from time to time? You know, sometimes people don't join. Why? Because we didn't discover the why. We need to understand what brings them to Toastmasters, not why we want them to join Toastmasters. And if we can answer their why, that makes the difference. You know, we recruited a member in Sydney, Australia, because she wanted a club that's focused on the accredited speakers. That was her why she wanted to join, because she wants the accredited speaker. So are we answering people's why? Oh, we pushed your reasons. Oh, dang, you know, it's not improperly spelt, but it's just the wrong word. We pushed our reasons they should join, not their reasons. So why? It's all about them. And the other thing that we really have to remember about open houses and any kind of a recruitment strategy that we have and that we use, we're not going to sign them all. We're not going to get everybody. Sometimes we do everything right and we go months before we sign. And all of a sudden, people just start to join. You can't win them all, but if we try, we will grow and we will win most of them. So I've been talking for almost 40 minutes. Does anyone here have any questions for me about open houses or anything that I've talked about? Social media, marketing, follow-up.
Michael, Laverne.
Go ahead.
Here. One thing I think you need to also mention is if we're going to contact them after the meeting, we have to be collecting their information while they're at the meeting. And we have a form that we pass out to the people, or we email to them now to make sure we get all their contact information so that we can do the follow-up.
You know what, Laverne, you're absolutely right. And yeah. And to take that to the next step, and this is something Gerald Allen told me a while ago. So Gerald, if you're on the phone, I have not forgotten. What happens sometimes is what they do is they give us their business contact stuff, but it's important to get their home contact stuff, especially if they belong to a corporate club, because that's part of the issue now with corporate clubs. All of the phone numbers are extensions that aren't working, or they're working, but they're not at their extensions. So I think it's important to, do we have not only a work contact, but a home contact so we can get a hold of them. So an excellent suggestion for Laverne. Thank you. Any other questions or ideas of what we can do to really drive our open houses to attract members?
Well, I had a question / comment.
Go ahead.
Just related to contacting people. I think it's really important to know how they want to be contacted, because not everyone's going to respond well to a phone call. So I think getting that information along with their contact information of how they would like to be contacted, and then try to feed everything in, try to get as much of our information into them. So if you have a Facebook page, make sure they know about the Facebook page and join your Facebook page after the meeting, etc., and try to find every way that you can to communicate with them and figure out how they want to be communicated with. Some people maybe will respond really well to a phone call, but other people are just going to prefer a Facebook Messenger message or a text message or a email, etc. And I just with respect to that, just wanted to say that.
No, Jules, you make an excellent point. Maybe we need to figure out a way to create a virtual guest book where we can capture that information.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let me think about
Mike.
Yes.
Hi. Somebody gave a speech, maybe it was that Cheryl Roche talk a few months ago, I'm not sure, where they talked about not using the term open house, but using some other term. Do you remember what that was?
No.
Yeah. I could check my notes later.
Okay.
We were calling it guest night in Beausejour instead of an open house.
Okay.
Wasn't it something like opportunity night or something like that? I'll look it up.
Okay, I just remember that whoever it was said, don't say open house, that's all.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
That's a good point, Bev.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. And Mike, I have 24 years of experience doing paper-based contacts with guests, and I'm completely at a loss now how to do this on Zoom when, at the end of the meeting, everything vanishes. Everything that was in the chat just vanishes. I used to have this fantastic little form, just a half sheet, your name, your phone number, your email, and I would have two questions. One, how did you find out about our club? And two, what kind of skills do you want to develop? And so I would take that home, and within the next couple of days, ideally, usually, I would email that person and say, oh, you want to do this? This is how Toastmasters can help you do that, which is, similar to what you were talking about in your sales pitch. How on earth do you do that on Zoom?
That's a good question that I don't have an answer to. My initial gut tells me that maybe we need to develop something like a fillable PDF that they can download, fill in the information, and then send back to us, and where we actually have our, we have a live link on the PDF form that they could that could happen automatically. I don't know if that's creatable, to be very honest, but that would seem to be kind of an elegant way of doing that. But I need to,
Okay.
I need to find an IT guru who can help me with that.
That would be good.
Yeah, because I agree, and I think, Bev, I remember filling a form out for you about that 24 years ago.
See, and you joined the club.
And here I am today.
Yes.
So I do have
exactly.
a recommendation, Michael, if you'll allow me.
Absolutely, David.
We have a 10-minute break in our club meeting, and I just outright ask our member, and our VP of M writes that information down.
Okay. How long are your meetings?
An hour and a half
Okay.
in Selkirk.
Yeah.
But ask the member outright. I mean, if we do have an electronic welcome and new guest package for the members, and they get that, but always nice to get what their goals are, why they came, and an email to follow up with, or a phone number, and we get that from them during the break.
Yeah. And I totally agree. And I think too, why they came, if we can answer the why, that's how we get them to join, because we answer that question.
I have a question about the chat for the agenda or other things. Do you copy and paste them into it, or how does that work?
Actually, when you go into chat, there's a thing there where you click on it and you can upload a form. So you just click there and it opens up, you click the form and you say yes, and it pops it into the chat. And then you see it in the chat, you click on it, it downloads it, and it opens it up. It's very, very, very simple.
Oh, wow.
Put the form somewhere where you can find it easily. So
yeah, usually on up on the desktop somewhere, so it's easy. Yeah, yeah. Easy to find. Okay. And it pops right up. And if you use a PDF, again, you don't have to worry about formatting. You know that everything's going to look right.
Michael, it's Ken Hartz. I don't know if you covered it, but did you talk about our theme for our guest night? Because I was thinking if we were to name it special guest event, a life-changing event, or is that too strong?
I don't think it's too strong. I think that the catchier the name, the more likely people are going to pay attention to it. I'm reading a book called Hook Point: How to Live in a 3-Second World. And Hook Point talks about the fact that, in today's world that, especially when we're looking for things, we have no patience. So if it's not there readily available, we don't want to go doing 15 clicks to find something. If it doesn't grab our attention right away, we'll move on to something else. I think of it as, when you're driving around the city and you see billboards, what billboard is catching your attention in all the billboards that you see? That's that hook point. So, how you set your meeting up is can you make that that advertising, that marketing piece so attractive that people will click on it, at least if nothing else, for more information. The idea too is to try different things till you find something that works. Don't know if I've answered your question, Ken.
No, I think so. I just thought maybe, it's a hook that can really bring them in.
Yeah.
But then you have to deliver. You better make sure that meeting does help them.
Exactly. One of the things, in our social media campaign that and I've been talking about this for a long time, but for our university and college clubs, when we want to attract that younger demographic. So why do kids go post-secondary school? One of two things: to get a job, or to get into some kind of a professional program that's the prerequisite for. So, I think, and we're still debating this one, I guess, I think a strong piece of advertising would be something like, your transcript gets you the interview, your interview gets you the job. We can help you with the interview. To appeal to the younger demographic, to help them reach some of their goals. And then to use somebody like Richard Durkach, who got into medical school and told me that, the reason he aced the interview is because of Toastmasters. Sort of married.
Michael?
Yes.
Yeah, Michael, I think that if you have a really targeted message like that, that's excellent. The idea of calling something a life-changing event, and Janet just posted something there. To me, that just sounds like a scam, and I would never. That would just turn me off completely. So, something that's more realistic, that'd be fine.
In our marketing meeting on Monday, Tuesday night, I don't even know what day it is anymore. But in our marketing meeting that we had this week, one of the participants, Wayne, was telling us about a local oldies radio station that appeals to the older crowd, and he was talking in terms of Elmwood seniors. So I'm thinking, and the advertising is really cheap. So for something like that, we've had a lot of members that have come and gone over the years. So even an advertising campaign was, it's time to come home to Toastmasters. For the older crowd, do you want to be able to tell, do you want to be funnier for your grandkids? Again, something like that, a benefit that they can, something that just sort of attracts their attention so that we can get them to come to a meeting, just to somehow do something a little bit different. So we're looking for ideas too, folks. So, I am open to absolutely every suggestion, because I do not have all the answers, and I know that. And certainly my wife reminds me of that often. So any suggestions that you have, we are more than happy to get. So don't hesitate to, email me, call me, or whatever, with any kind of suggestions for hook points, marketing ideas, or marketing campaigns. We will be running a social media campaign in the new year to help attract folks, and we're going to run that across the demographics. That certainly, will help. If you're looking for other ideas, though, and you've heard me talk about this as well, Toastmasterseurope.org, and you go to the Moonlit Project, and they did a high performance leadership program there on how to attract millennials and Gen Xers. And there's all kinds of great material, all kinds of great artwork. It's all there. If you're looking for things to use as part of advertising campaigns, you might want to go and look what they have there. There's some tremendous stuff that they've developed there. So that's a good source of material if you're looking for things to post. Any other questions?
It's Michael, Chris Damon here. Just a question. You talked about this being up on YouTube, and I think the speaker you talked about social media was Ricky Miller. Did I get that right?
No, it was Brittany Miller.
Brittany. So I just gone on YouTube, and maybe I'm in the wrong spot, but it's District 64, and I should find it there.
District 64 Club Growth Director. It's D64 Club Growth Director.
So on YouTube, I go D64 Club Growth Director.
Yeah.
Okay, and this will be up in the next little while as well.
Actually, it's up. I put it up last night.
Okay. So, no, that's what I was wondering. Just wanted to follow up on this.
Yeah.
A great presentation, Mike. I thought that overall, I think for all of us to remember the importance of the little things, as you said. And I think also when you had a 40-minute presentation, when you do have an open house, to make sure that it's concise and well, organized and ready to present to the guests, right? So we wouldn't be able to go through a 40-minute presentation. So whatever it is that works for that particular guest, making sure that we follow up. So I think my point is good presentation and for all of us to be prepared.
Thank you. And yeah, and that little Toastmasters pitch, that we do that little Toastmasters pitch in about 5 minutes. If you would like copies of those slides that you can customize for your club, email me. You can go clubgrowthdirector@district64.ca. Ask me for the slides, and I will send you that slide deck that again you can customize for your own club. And it's just I'm not going to give you the whole. I mean, if you want the whole slide deck of the entire presentation, you can have that too. But it's just that bit. Welcome to Key Club, and the different and the various things where we talk about Key Club and stuff. So I'd be happy to share those with you as well. So clubgrowthdirector@district64.ca. And I will gladly email those to you.
Well,
I am going to quit my share so I can see most of you.
well, thank you very much for this fabulous presentation, Mike. I enjoyed it, and I believe everybody else did so. And got a lot of information of what not to do to attract guests. So let's follow this and make sure that our clubs are growing. We all have the opportunity and we all need new members. So let's work with this and have fun with it. That's the main part. Once again, thank you very much, Mike, for your time. Great job. We really enjoyed this presentation.
Thank you very much. And as I say, if I can help you, if you got ideas, send me an email. We're looking for ideas. We have a ton of money to spend. We want to get rid of it before they suck it back. All right. Thank you.